Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pal to Tech Electronic Campfire. This is episode 25, and today is May. Let me try and get this right, because I'm running on fumes today. May 26th. How's everybody doing? Okay. Did I do the opener right? Okay, I did. Great. You're all here. All right, we're going to have an awesome time tonight, and we're going to kick off the weekend. We all need a nice, long, awesome weekend. I know I do. Let's see who's here. Okay, we've got Florian, Sandy, how you doing? Dr. Henninger, good to see you. See, I automatically revert, if I see doctor in the name, I automatically revert to, calling him doctor. So we're good. We're good there. Let's see here. We are, I lost my, hold on one second. Turn that back on. One of the monitors just went out, but that's okay. I can guess. I can see it on here, so we're good. Are you guys still seeing me? Yes, you are. All right. I'll tell you something, and I'm going to tell you a story in a few minutes when I get into the whole Fuji event. There's been some behind-the-scenes stuff that's been going on. You just, you won't believe. And, well, I'll get into it in a sec. Let me finish going through who is here. I don't want to miss anybody. I want to see who's here. We got Matt, Petra, Kat, good Natalie, good to see you. Christopher, we got all the backstage people here. This is awesome. Thank you. And I must apologize for not being very present in the Discord server. I literally haven't had a second this week. So I wonder why. Let's get into that. It was quite a week for Fujifilm. And, I got to tell you that overall, it was just insane. And so you had the X Summit, we had the XS20, we had the 8mm prime lens, and we had the new camera app, okay? So all of that was kind of thrown at once. And I had a pretty strong impression that we were going to get a new camera because you go to Fuji Rumors and you see that. And the lens, okay, I was pretty certain we were going to have that. The app was really a surprise. And not only was it a surprise, but what it can actually do and the level of features on it, that shocked me. So that was a big deal. And, so I love that. Who are we? Oh, Kenneth, thank you for this super chat. Man, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And David, my goodness. Okay, that is awesome. Thank you. All right, how do I remove the comments? Boom. Okay, still getting used to this live stream stuff. So, out of the blue, this was a couple of days before the event. I get a message from Fuji, and it's a little message. I can't really say who it's from. It's from somebody that works at Fuji and fairly high up. And all it said was, hey, we got an XS20 and an 8mm. Would you like to test it? Sure. So they sent it to me, and they rushed it. It got like overnight. Now, I got it 2 days or 3 days. It was 2 days before the event. So I don't know about you, but when I see YouTube channels that publish a camera review on the day they announce it, it's kind of like this rite of passage. It's like, this is going to sound really stupid now, but you kind of feel like you leveled up. You went to the next level if you can do that. If you get to a point in your YouTube career that a camera company is sending you something to review that you can actually do by the day it is launched to the world. I mean, that to me it's really exciting. And so the camera arrived and I opened it up. There was no box. There were no instructions. The lens was already attached to the camera and black duct tape was over the make and the model number, which, of course, I immediately took off. Hold that thought. Thank you, Florian, for that. That is really awesome. Awesome. Wow. Man, that's a lot. Thank you. That will really help because, folks, I am myself personally saving up to get an XS20. After using it and playing with it and running with it, it's perfect for what I do. It's perfect. And I'm going to get into that in just a sec. I want to finish this story. It gets crazier. So I had the camera, I had the lens, and I damn near killed myself doing this review. It was the most work I've ever done on a video for the channel. And the first night I went to bed around 3. The second night, which was the night before the launch, the summit, I didn't go to bed at all. And it got to be, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, the summit launched, right? And at that time, I was still trying to get my edits finished. And then all hell broke loose. Apple, thanks Apple, decided to do yet another software update. And they updated Final Cut Pro. And I wasn't aware that happened. And it caused 2 huge problems. First, it knocked out and destroyed all of my presets for my audio, a number of my animated graphics, and all of that stuff. And when I opened it up and loaded it up, it conked out. And I didn't know it was going to be updated. There was no way in hell I would have updated. I would never update software like that. And so it updated it to a new version of Final Cut Pro. And it threw in all these bells and whistles, and it also wrecked stuff. So now it's like, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I cannot get this video edited. So I had to recreate a lot of that animation. And when I say animation, like when I say, and if you see right here, you can set the bit rate to 320, and then the thing goes, it zooms in, all of that stuff, all those arrows and those graphics, all that stuff, I had to recreate it. All right, the audio I had to recreate. And so I'm scrambling and doing it. Anyway, I didn't get the video published until 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. that day, but I still got it out that day. So then I thought, all right, I have a little bit of breathing room here. And right as I thought that, because I was going to do the lens, and I had gone out shooting with the 8mm lens. So right at that moment, I get a message from Fuji, and the message said something along the lines of, hey, that camera and lens that we loaned you, that was actually someone's personal camera and lens, and we need it back now. And so I had to ship it back on, it was like Thursday morning. And so I had that night, so I shot all of this B-roll that night. I shot all of this B-roll of that lens, okay? I had already gone out and taken photos with it, but I had planned in the morning to do some more filming with it. And I shot, just when I say B-roll, I mean like zooming in on it. I had this, I went out on location. I put it on this road. I mean, I did all of this stuff. I went all out on it because I just felt like, it's a cool lens and it did some wide angle things. And so I shot all of this footage, and a lot of that footage was shot using the XS20 because I wanted to use some of the features on that. So I took the footage that I had shot, and I used an Atomos Ninja 5 external monitor recorder recording raw video, okay, which is huge file sizes. I took the hard drive, I think you know where this is headed. I took the hard drive out of the monitor, I put it in the Mac, I offloaded everything, right, onto that. I took out the hard drive, I left it on my desk, and then I went in, and this was this morning. I went in and I thought, all right, I'm going to spend today working on that, and I'm going to surprise everyone. I'm not even going to mention it during the live stream, and I'm going to launch a lens review of that lens Saturday, tomorrow. So I go to edit the footage, and it's gone. It's gone because I had thought the backup program had run. And again, stupid Apple, okay, had restarted my computer at some point in the middle of the night. And my backup program, for some reason, didn't auto start when the Mac booted back up. So it never ran. So the footage was still on the hard drive, which I had erased because it was full and I was going to use that again for Friday's filming. So I lost it. I tried everything. I went to disk recovery. I went to, I bought as 3 or 4 different programs to try and recover the files. They're gone. They're gone. So all I have to show you of that lens are, I have some photos that I took with it that I will show you. And I have one B-roll shot of that lens that survived. So here's my question to you. Honestly, should I do a review anyway? There's no footage at all showing the lens. Now, I can pull stock footage from Fujifilm. They have, their little promo videos. So I could show a little bit of it. And I have a couple of photos that I took with it. And I've certainly used it and I can talk about it. But it wouldn't be like a typical lens review. And I didn't have time because I had to return the lens to do the wall test and to do a number of the more advanced tests. So my question to you is, would you rather have like a short video where I'm probably going to go, this is I'm not holding it because I don't have it, lens review type of video, or should I just, the hell with it, not do it at all, go watch someone else's review, who obviously someone else on YouTube has better file management skills than I do and doesn't have these Apple software update problems that I have, because I lost it. So let me know in the comments and I'll make a decision on that. But that's what happened. It was the lack of sleep. I wasn't thinking straight. The computer software updated. The stupid thing restarted in the middle of the night. I didn't realize that. And I lost it. The good news, though, is that we did get done the XS20 and the firmware video. I was able to squeeze that in. So there was a lot done, but I really wanted to show off the 8mm. I did have it, just so you know. And when Fuji said return it, I take that very seriously. I sent it back overnight. So, I had to return it. Okay, so that's that lovely event. Let's go to, wow, we have so many. I don't know if Apple's evil, maybe they are. You could hear me, okay, I'm on the lower level here. I'm in, like in Mad Max, what is it, Beyond Thunderdome? This is like Bartertown, this is like below that, where Master Blaster lives. That's where I'm at. And so my kids' rooms are way above, okay, with a bunch of walls between it. And my son comes up to me, he's like, Dad, I could hear you saying the F word. It's like at 4:00 in the morning. I was so mad because you put everything you have, your heart, everything you have into these videos, and you sacrifice sleep, you sacrifice sanity. There's no windows in here. There's no clocks. I didn't know what time it was. So, it just was, it was the way it was, but anyhow, such is life, such is life. Hey, Mr. Jarble, good to see you. How you doing, pal? You can relate to tech issues, I'm sure. I'm sure you don't have the problems that I do. So thank you so much, Inscrutable Owl. Wow, you guys are being really generous today. Thank you. It is really appreciated. Thank you so much. I don't deserve it. I've not been a very good backstage member lately. Trust me, I'm getting back into it. This is the end for me. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Okay. I'm like a turkey. I'm done. So this weekend, I'm going to decompress. Next weekend's my birthday. So, I got to just get through another week of videos, and then I'm taking another weekend to just clear my head. So, hey, you know what, Patrick, you're right, man. I thank you and welcome. Okay, so you think I should get another loaner, and he had said in another comment to get another loaner, and I might do that, but here's the thing. I don't feel I deserve another loaner. Fuji did loan me one, and I screwed it up. I screwed it up. And so me getting another loaner is one less other photographer or reviewer or YouTube channel that has to wait or not have one, or it's unavailable. So maybe I'll wait on that. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about asking them again, hey, can I have it again, when there's a lot of other people that don't have that lens yet, Jason, thank you, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I hope I didn't miss anybody's super chat. When I tell stories, it's like I'm not even, I'm not even on this stream. I don't even know this stuff's working. That's part of the problem. I think that's why I have so much trouble with software, because I don't think a lot. I get caught up. Thank you, Petra. Thank you so much. That is really nice of you. I don't multitask well. Okay. So let me go to a couple of things I want to show you. All right, so we have here, and I don't have an external monitor to monitor this, which kind of stinks, but that's just the way it is. We have here, I don't know if you can see it, but this is the XS20, right? And, that's the back of it. Really great camera, really, really, really awesome camera here. And really, frankly, I didn't think that I would like it as much as I did. Now, for those of you that, are wondering about this, because I had mentioned it on the, and by the way, and I didn't say this in the video, and I probably should show you this one thing. It has also this Fujifilm kind of vlogging grip handle mount thing. I have one for the Sony ZV-1. And honestly, I thought it would be something I would use. Sorry, Fuji, you really don't use those a whole lot, at least not for vlogging style. Maybe if you have it set up on a desk as a permanent thing, you would use it, but I didn't use, so that's why I'm not going to get one. It's why I'm not going to review one of those things. It's not something that I think it is really useful for a number of photographers, but it's cool, and I'm sure some people could find some use in it. So this is the one issue I had with the camera, and it is really, when you get right down to it, it's this area right here. Command dial, you cannot press it in, so you cannot assign ISO to it. Okay, so just something to know. And of course, you have to use the ISO button here. The other thing about it, you have this auto and vlog, right? And, that's a really interesting thing, because auto is really auto everything. And so the camera then will you can have it pick a film simulation. You put film simulation in auto, you put, the focus scenes. And when I tested this thing with autofocus, okay, thank you, Astro Mechanic. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. When I tested the autofocus, I wasn't running on fumes, but I had maybe 2 gallons left in me, okay? And I was really tired. And I was kind of just going through the motions, and I always love, it's kind of a tradition for the channel, I love doing, my Shetland sheepdog running toward, because they're unpredictable, and it's a great way to test autofocus. And I went and I did it, and I kind of, at that point, I was in such a hurry, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. I was just shooting. I was noticing, though, that those squares were following the eyes really well, particularly face-eye auto-detect, okay? In this motion. Not so much straight on, okay? But in this motion, it was doing really well. And when I went back in and I pulled up Capture One, I about had a heart attack. I mean, almost every shot came out. And I've never had that with, the T5, the XT4 or the 3. Nothing like that. And so one of the things I do want to do, if I'm not going to do the lens review, I want to stick the firmware update on this camera, and because I have it fresh in my mind how good it was on the XS10, and I want to see how it performs on this. And it's not going to be the same, folks, I don't think. Because why? Because this has a much larger sensor. Okay, and I think that will change things. 40 megapixels versus 26. So I think there's going to be a difference. I don't know if it's going to be as good, but I will definitely report out on it and let you know. You know, the specs for it are really, really, really impressive. And, you know, you've got this whole, you know, 422, and I know a lot of people don't care about this stuff, but 6.2K 30p is incredible for the price point. The fact it's got UVC, UAC is incredible. And you know, just this little kind of FYI, 4K 60p, you know, via USB. So, you know, you plug that into your computer, you got a webcam. You don't need that Fuji webcam app. You don't need, you know, anything. You just plug it in and it works as a webcam, which is awesome. So, you know, it's stuff like that, that as I started to make the review video, I was like, oh, geez, how am I got to mention this. I got to mention this. And that's actually how I know a camera is pretty good, is when I'm making one of these videos and the damn thing just never ends. I just having to keep edit more and more and more because there's more to talk about, right? So, you know, that's how it is. So then, okay, so then we have obviously the 8mm lens. Humor me, because I want to show you something, the only footage I've got before all the rest of it got destroyed. So humor me on it. Let me pull it up. Here it is right here. Can you see it? This is my B-roll. This is my B-roll, the only surviving B-roll ever of this lens, you know. That's it. There it is. And what I do is I shoot a static shot, and then in post-production, I do the zoom in. You know, I could get the camera slider out, and that's a better way of doing it. But when you're dealing with 2 days, no time. So that's when you see, like, I think I did it in the beginning of the XS20 review, you know, and that's when you see, like, when it goes, you know, this is the ba 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 ba, you know, like that. It's done in post-production if you're in a hurry. And so I was going to do that at that point, but didn't have it. Let me at least show you the specs for this baby. It's, you know, we got, you know, 121 degree angle of view. That is pretty wide, okay? We've got, you know, 12 elements, 9 groups, 62mm filter, and low breathing for movie shooting. Now, that was, above all the stuff, I tested movie shooting the most, because I did that first, and then I realized I had to quickly return the lens before I got finished doing all the photos. So I can tell you, it does have low breathing. The breathing isn't bad on that lens, you know. I think I have here somewhere. Yeah, so I've got a picture of a demo. One thing that it was weird about that lens is when you're panning. Okay, so when you're panning, let me show you what it looks like when you're panning with this lens. Okay, so here I have this lens attached to the XS20, and I'm panning, you know, like that. Panning back, like that. Sound effects didn't come with it. So, you know, it's okay, but you can kind of see it's a little bit, whoa. It's definitely a wide angle look, for sure. You know, so fun lens, and it's really lightweight. It weighs, and the size is roughly like the 35mm prime. Okay, it's a really lightweight lens. Awesome, but that wide field of angle, that field of view, I don't think that's for everybody. You know, so it's not as, you know, I don't think that is something is going to appeal to everyone, for sure. That was my first impression of it. You know, so. Now, let's talk about the app, okay? I have not, as of yet, tested it out myself. I heard that it was pulled from the App Store, and then it was put back on the App Store. In fact, even Fuji, and I attended sort of a pre-launch media meeting over Zoom with Fuji, and what they told me when they announced the app was they said that the App Store and Google Play is really out of their hands, and there's all kinds of restrictions with that. So, you know, there's only so much they can do. I don't know why they pulled the app, but I do know that it is back now. And I can tell you that if it gets pulled again or there's a problem, just go to Fuji Rumors, because, you know, if you think I don't sleep, I'm sure Patrick never sleeps over at Fuji Rumors. So yeah, that'll have the latest news. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Ragnar. Thank you. That's awesome and helps out the channel a lot. I'm putting it to the XS20 fund because I want to test that camera more, you know. And I'm sorry I haven't gotten to a lot of comments yet. I've got a lot to go through, but I will do a Q&A and some comments toward the end of the stream, I promise. So then let's talk about the app a little bit. There's a couple of things about this app that I didn't think they were going to include, okay? They didn't. What Fuji could have done is they could have just taken the existing app and just made it not suck, which would not have been hard to do. So, you know, they could have just made it connect better. They could have cleaned up that clunky user interface. And if they just did that and it was reliable and it just kind of did that, fine. And maybe threw in live view remote, that would have been great. But there's so much more that this app can do, okay? Let me show you a few things, and it has mostly to do with filtering. That's the crazy thing. So in the app, all right, you can actually filter, out, I'm gonna hide all the clutter on this screen if I can. Okay, you can filter out by, like, for example, if you're by subject. So if you've been shooting in, you know, person, animal, bird mode, it'll track your images that way, which is really, really, really cool. You know, if you look at, you can also filter by stars, by, and I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, can you see JPEG? You can filter by file type, you know, and by rating as well. So there's a lot of options with this app that I didn't think that they were going to do. You can even, and this is really cool. I don't know if anybody has seen this yet. So let me just show it to you. Hold on. Get it so that at least this thing works. Okay, have a look at this. Check it out. So you can see your activity. Okay, wow. I seem to shoot most often with Velvia, right? And with blah, 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 blah. So it's really cool because it keeps track of all of this stuff. And it also syncs it into the cloud so that you can sign on online and that information is there. So really you can start to build kind of a history. And it also syncs with, it also has filtering that syncs with your lenses, right? So you have this kind of thing. Check it out. You see that? Can you see it? I hope you can. You know, you've got your lenses, how many shots you took with each lens, right? I mean, that kind of stuff I think can be really helpful. And I was not expecting that in an app. That really kind of was shocking to me, you know. Now, let's just go through one really important thing. Okay, so I hope you can see this. Yes, you can. All right, let's get through compatibility because I'm getting a gazillion questions on that. This app will only work, okay, this app will only work compatible with the fourth gen and newer. That covers the X series, that is the XH2, the XH2S, the T5, T4, T3, T32, okay? The T30, the XS20, the XS10, the XE4, the X Pro 3, and the X100V, and then the GFX system, it's the 100 and the 100S and the 50S2. If you didn't get that, just rewind the video and, you know, do it again. Thank you. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. My wife is building something, and if you can get this right, I want you all to guess what I'm about to show you. It's a character from a movie. Do you know what year the movie came out?
I don't.
Okay, it came out a while back. What's the name of the guy that's in it? The actor's name?
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal is in this movie, okay? I'm going to give you one more hint, okay? I'm going to give you one more hint.
Does anyone know?
Hold on. Well, you got to give these people time to type in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Plus, there's a latency. I think it's like 10 seconds, which always confuses me.
It's just part of it. It's not the whole thing.
It's just part of it. It's not the whole thing. Hey, is it okay if I show the fail?
If you
The
want
fail
to,
video?
I don't know if they'd be
If there's time,
Yeah,
I'll show you the fail video.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Did anyone get it?
Yeah, Donnie Darko. You're right. We got some winners here.
What's the character name?
Okay, you all got it perfectly. What's the character's name? What is the character's name?
I don't
Just
know.
mouth it. Oh, right. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, anybody know that? Yeah, Frank the Bunny, we got it. Good job. So, yeah, Frank the Bunny, weird movie, but it's really good. Okay, hey, let's kick off the weekend. I want everybody to get a beverage, okay? Get a beverage. I'll give you a few minutes to do that. We're going to do a toast. Boy, I'm surprised that a lot of you got that. That's really, really cool. Well done. I'm impressed. So let me show you now a really funny thing. So my wife builds stuff all the time. And one of the things she's building, the big thing she's building is a working replica of WALL-E from the movie WALL-E. And when I say a working replica, I mean, this thing is made out of steel and it has gyro stuff in it and it moves. I mean, it's huge. It can barely fit through a door. Okay. So she's building this thing completely. She has to learn Arduino. For those of you that know what that is, it has circuits inside of it. It's got just all kinds of, and it's being 3D printed, most of it. So she took it out. Right? And she took out just the tread part because WALL-E has treads like a tank. And she took it out to where I normally test the cameras. And she had a little problem. Okay, a little fail. And I just think this is really funny. I'm going to show it to you. But when you see it, check out the sizing of it because what is built is only the treads. It's only the treads, okay? And I'm going to be documenting this. I've actually want to shoot some footage and make like a little mini how it was done because it is pretty incredible. But let me show you this thing because I think you're going to get a kick out of it. I'm not going to show you more than a few seconds, but let me switch over to here, okay? We're at the desktop. This is the unit right here. This is only one side of it, okay? Just one side total, right? But look at all of the stuff here that she built. I mean, look at that. So that's just one side, and then it connects the robots here, and then the other side is like right here. So she just wanted to test to see if it worked, right? And she ran a wire to some kind of gizmo here. So let's now run this. Hold on. Turn that off. Let me move it over to where it starts. There. Okay, hold on. Check it out. Hopefully this will pick up audio. All right, I'll run it one more time in case anybody didn't see it. Okay. It happens, but so a little more work back to the drawing board, but I thought that was hilarious. So she put that out. I thought that was great. That's something to show you. Okay. Does everybody have their... Oh, wait a minute. I think we've got another... Mr. Jarble, super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Jarble. You're awesome, man. Thank you. I hope you got through your email okay. Mr. Jarble gets more email than anyone I've ever known in the history of humanity. Okay, so here's to you. Here's to Fujifilm. Here's to some great videos. Here's to having a great weekend. Here's to taking some great shots. And most importantly, you don't need the latest and greatest gear. As long as your camera can do exposure triangle and you know how to focus, you're all set. Cheers, everyone. Okay. Awesome. Oh, that was good. All right. So what I'd like to do before we jump into the Q&A and some comments, I'd like to go and show you just a few pictures that were taken with the XS20 and the 8mm lens because I have them and I don't know if they're ever going to see the light of day. They're not really edited. It's kind of in raw format. I really don't like to pull up, Lightroom or Capture One and just sit in a corner in a window and drone on and on and on about it. I find those kind of videos boring, to be honest with you. So it's going to be real short. All right. I'm just going to boom, show it. Let me make sure I even have Capture One on here. Yes, I do. Yay. Okay. Boom. Hope you can see it. So here we are, right here, Capture One, 6240 by 4160, right? And this was shot with the XS20, and we're looking at, does it show the focal length? Let's see. Yeah, of course it does. Right here, 8mm. All right. So really nice. Check that out. I mean, no processing on this photo, okay? No processing at all. And I mean, I was surprised at how, if you just angle that lens a little bit, it kind of brings this stuff to life. It's awesome. So I love that. So you got that one. You know, you aim it up at the trees. There you go, right? I was in a hurry, so I didn't spend a lot of time on that one. But okay, here, you know, kind of this field of view. And it's nice, you know, and if you go in, let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, what's funny is I had to wait for these people to walk. It took forever, and I'm, you know, see, I don't know if you can see them, but they're like there we go. They're way, way, way off. I'm at 800%. They're way off in the distance, okay? You know the feeling. Tell me you know this feeling. Camera's on a tripod. You're all ready to go. And right at that minute, someone walks into frame like they've got all the time in the world. And these two people did. So I'm looking at the watch. My heart is going. And I'm just like, I've got to get this done. And I wanted this shot, you know, for the review video. So there it is. Okay. What else? I'll just show you one or two more and that'll be that. We got this one right here, kind of something in the foreground. I think on this one, we are at f5.6, folks. This is f5.6. Pretty impressive, interesting on that one with that wide angle, right? You know, and then of course you got your standard, and these are terrible. I haven't even edited these, but you've got, you know, kind of gives you nice, the distortion. I'm not really seeing much of it on that. And then this one didn't come out real well, but it's the only one I've got. And then I had shot this. I was going to get some more. I had to run in. I got caught up with something else, and that was the last shot I was able to get with it. So, you know, I think, whoa, hold on. I switched. Sorry. Let me go back. I don't know if you saw this one. This was the one that was f5.6. Okay. And that, you know, considering f5.6, that's pretty cool. And again, this one right here, sort of the no distortion shot, and the one right here, and of course right here. And then I kind of like, you know, this one right here. It's like through there, you've got this wide angle, and it's really hard to do this type of shot unless you have a lens that's, you know, 8mm at that point. So overall, I was pleased with it. And hey, we just got through my first live Capture One thing. Okay. So, all right. What do we, oh my goodness, you people with the super chats. George, thank you, George. I appreciate it. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. BlueTech318, you do need to do that, man, but thank you so much. Okay, and that 8mm review. I think more and more I'm going to do something, just have fun. I'll do a mini review. It'll be like a 5-minute video, you know? Just, I feel like I don't want to ask for that lens again. I don't want to ask for another piece of gear ever. You know, because it does, I had my shot. So I want to own that, you know what I mean? George, what is going on, pal? Okay, please stop. But thank you, George. But seriously, folks, that at this point, you know, we're moving up on that camera fund, but that is not why I'm doing these videos. But thank you so much. It is really appreciated. Now we're good on time. Do you have any questions about the XS20 or the 8mm? Or I can't answer a whole lot on the app because I decided for the app, what I'm going to do is I'm not doing an announcement video. I don't want to do an announcement video. You know, this is an app. I want to do a full-blown, like the guide, how to use it, to go over every feature, right? To show the whole thing. And it's going to take me a little bit of time because this will be one video. I'm going to do it on, you know, Android as well. There's a lot of Android users, and I have an Android device as well that I can do it on. I mainly use iPhone for day-to-day stuff, but I also have Android for situations exactly like this. So, we're talking about downloading and installing the app, both on Android and iPhone, configuring it, screenshots, B-roll, checking it on both, double on everything, and then going through every single feature, testing that out on an X-T5, but also testing it out on an older camera as well, on say an X-T3, or I might even do it on, I think it can do I can't do an X-T2, X-T3. And really, I want it to be like, wow, I just got the app. What can I do with it? Oh, I know, I'll go try this video. And it just goes through everything. And I'll have a table of contents where you can just boom, jump ahead. Oh, I can filter my photos by lens. How the hell do I do that? And you click on that and there it comes right up. So that to me is the way to do the video for the app. That being said, I've got a couple of videos I have to put ahead of it. So I'm going to rush on it as much as I can, but it's not going to be next week. I don't see it coming out next week. It'll probably be the week after. Okay. Just as a heads up on that one. My throat's dry. I don't know about yours. Okay. These super chats are getting out of hand, seriously. But Drone Tech Bro, thank you. Wow. Speaking of drones are getting insane. There's a video on YouTube from a YouTuber called Make Art Now. Kind of an interesting channel. Anyway, this guy got one of those, it's like a $16,000 8K drone. And it's unreal. You could set this drone up in your TV studio and shoot professional footage, and it's better than any camera out today. Or you could fly this thing up to the top of a building and get footage. It's unreal. So drones are just, talk about advancing so quickly. Now, $16,000 is way out of my budget. Please stop with the super chat. I don't want to get to 16 grand. Okay, I'm not getting that drone. Okay, I'm just not. But I do owe you, and I promised you this, a basic drone video, because while those crazy drones are 16 grand, you can get, the Mini 2 for a hell of a lot cheaper, and even the original Mini. And these practically fit in your pocket. They fit certainly in your camera bag. They shoot 4K. And hey, you know what? If you're out on location shooting, what you can do is fly this thing up, turn it, aim it down to what you're doing, right? Let's say you're shooting, you're having a photo shoot outside, you're shooting, and just leave the drone up, hovering a little bit away, and you can get great behind the scenes footage that you can put on your website. You can have, promotion videos and things like that. So there's lots of uses for drones these days. They're awesome. But you got to know how to fly them right and use them right. So I kind of want to cover that, particularly with an eye on using Fujifilm specs in film sims and getting the footage from the drone off to try and match what you're doing in Fuji. Okay. Mike, thank you, pal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wow. Okay, I'm getting exhausted here. It was champagne sumo. Awesome. I only saw a sumo wrestler once. I was in Japan. I was in Kyoto, and I walked by this place, and I looked in, and there were these two sumo wrestlers going at it. Unreal. I've never seen anything like that. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. So let me now get into the chat. I want to connect with you a bit and not be so, formal. Now, Take from Big Head Taco was going to join us today, okay? And it was my fault. I screwed it up because when I found out we had talked back and forth. I'm actually in one of his videos, okay, on his channel. If you go to Big Head Taco's channel, it's a video that he shot in New York City during last year's launch of the XH2 or S, I forget which one, but he went around and he interviewed and he asked people, what's your favorite camera? What's your favorite lens? Of course, and for, I think, favorite camera, I said XT3. And for the lens, I said the 18 to 55, that one for what I was doing. Now, I don't know what I would say, XT5 probably, but I got to tell you something. When I returned the XS20, I went to shoot some footage with the XT5, and the first thing I needed to do was flip around that screen, and I couldn't, so I love the XT5, and I love the dials and the controls. And that's the other thing. The XS20 obviously has the command dial. I'm still not a fan of the command dial. And I don't think I ever will be. That doesn't mean the command dial's not bad. That doesn't mean you can't learn to use the command dial. But what it does mean is that if you do buy that camera and you're coming from using an XT camera that has top dials, you are going to have a considerable period of relearning things, right? Because it is different. It's very different, particularly with ISO. And I wound up so much of the time sticking it in auto ISO because I got just so annoyed with having to figure it out because I just didn't have the muscle memory, that I needed to do that. So, or I should say I had too much muscle memory from using the XT5. So, but it's an incredible, incredible camera. And yeah. But anyway, I'm in this video of his, and the reason I brought it up is because he reached out to me and he asked if we could do a live stream together. Live when the event was going on, the summit. And I was all for that until, right? It was 4:00 in the morning and my video wasn't done and there was just no way I could do it. So I told him, I can't do it. I don't even, and honestly, my viewing experience, I watched the live stream, right? And I was eating crackers for breakfast and watching it. And I had the live stream in a tiny little window way up in the corner with my editor open. And I was just editing the whole time. I mean, it was that frantic. But I told him that he could join today's stream. And I gave him the link and said, but I told him so last minute. So I don't think he's going to join us today. But I'll see if he can come in 2 weeks for sure. I owe him an appearance. But check out his channel. He is a really nice guy. And he has forgotten more than I'll ever know about photography. Great guy. Okay, so did Hal blink? What? What, Gus? What are you talking about? I don't need Hal coming alive. Yeah, and to be honest, I had a bit that I had shot. So I had Iguana. And I put the 8mm lens right here, and I wanted to do an opener where a hand is reaching in to get the 8mm lens, and Gear Iguana's like, like object guarding, and I'm trying to get it, and something kind of funny and silly and goofy and kind of stupid like that, and that footage was also lost. So, and when I come up with an idea and I shoot something and then I lose it, I usually don't shoot it again because the spur of the moment, the spontaneity is gone. So I have to think of something else, Okay. The answer to this question is no, because right now, if you're asking it, then and he's asking 30mm macro, do you need the 80? Is it worth? Well, first of all, if you need an 80, I think it is worth it. But do you need an 80? Because the 30 can do a lot. It can do a lot. You could glue that thing onto your camera, quite frankly. So I don't think you need the 80 right now. Really think about it, that focal length, because it all comes down to the focal length. More or less. I think the 80 in terms of quality might be a smidgen better, but the 30 is so versatile. I love the 30. Love that lens. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's just, this is just an awesome, awesome lens. And yeah, look at that. The 30mm macro lens. It has this little front. It's such a beautiful lens. And it's so lightweight. And frankly, the 8mm was a little bit shorter. This is larger, I think, than the 8mm was. So I don't think you need the 80, but it depends what you're shooting, as always, right? All those things always depend on that. Let's see, I want to get to some questions here. And by the way, if I miss anything and you folks happen to see a question of somebody, feel free to jump in and answer. You probably know the answer better than I do anyway. Okay, Natalie asks a very good question. That's a tough one. Hold on a second. In the network at ABC television, we used to call that dead air, there's dead air, right? So the ZV-1, and this is a ZV-1 with a camera cage and a mic and one of those grips that I never use. The ZV-1 is a great camera, and in terms of autofocus, I would say it's better than pre-firmware upgraded X-T5, for sure. Is it better than the XS20? I would say it's no. Yeah, a little, maybe a smidgen better. Yeah, the ZV-1, I think, the Sony autofocus, but it's so close. And frankly, what are you using the XS20 for, right? So it's the only thing though is that the ZV-1 is more compact. And if you're okay with these menu buttons, I hate them. Okay, I mean, I can't stand these things. I'm constantly, look at my thumb, okay? Look at these things. As I said, you need an electron microscope to read it. So I'm constantly pressing the wrong button. But I like just, it is compact. So if compact is the biggest thing for you, then the ZV-1. But if you're willing to be, larger, then check out the XS20, because that camera, the video specs on that for sure. I mean, because that'll be vlogging and studio and just about anything else you can throw at it. This one I don't really take photos with. So, it's one of those things. Plus, I don't like just the ports, how they are, the way that it's just the design of it is not to my liking. In terms of the quality though, it's good. It's good. But remember that it's kind of a fixed lens. So what's great about the Fujicam is you can use whatever lens you want. And so you could put a pancake lens on that thing if you want to. It's got IBIS. So it gives you a lot more in terms of flexibility. I hope that answers your question a little bit. I don't know. I have not used the 18-60. It's one of the few zoom lenses I've not tried out yet. And I may do that. Instead of the 8mm, I'll see if I can get one of those. That might be a good video to do, for sure. I'm deciding between, here we go. All right. I want you all to read this and chime in the comments, because here's someone that is brand new to photography, and prefers the dials over the grip. Or doesn't know if he'll prefer the dials to the grip and the EVF. What should I do? Okay. Ready, set, go. So someone brand new to photography, should they go command dial or should they go top dials? I'll tell you my answer, go top dials, because it's Fuji. If you're going to be shooting with Fuji and you're brand new to photography, there's two reasons you want to go with the top dials. The first is that it's Fuji, and it's a unique thing to Fuji, so you may as well try that out. Okay, you're not going to get that, say, on a Sony. The second reason I think is even more important, and that's because if you're new to photography, in my opinion, there is no better way on this planet Earth to learn about the exposure triangle than to have it visually distinct with these dials, right? ISO, shutter speed, aperture, okay? So if you do go with Fuji, get yourself a lens that has an aperture ring on it and really drill down into it. It needs to be a learning curve. It needs to be hard. Things sometimes, when a camera or when someone recommends something that is so easy, like they'll say, what should I get for blah, 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 blah? Well, get product X because it does this for you and it does all the stuff and you don't have to, I want to drive a car. What should I get? Well, get an automatic transmission. You don't want to deal with a stick shift. The hell with that. I'm going to teach my daughter how to drive a stick so that, ultimately, probably she'll get a car one day that has, an automatic transmission, but she'll know how to drive a stick. So you really need to take control if you're getting into photography and learn this stuff. And you'll pick it up fairly quickly, but it's really important. And for those reasons, I think you should go with that. But I'm sure you'll hear just as valid of an opinion from other people using the PASM dial, right? So And the XH2 is an awesome camera as well. So either the X-T5 or the XH2. I mean, that's the choice I think you're faced with. I say X-T5. I vote for X-T5, and if I knew how to do a vote on this software, and I'm not dealing with any more software this week, I would do that right now. So just chime in the comments. We'll do it informally. Okay, where are we going here? Wow, we got so much. We got some top dial votes. Better for seeing exposure triangle. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. XT5. Okay, all right, top dials. Oh, it's not even a close call here. So that's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, you know what, Mr. Jarble, I want to get back to that 80 millimeter versus the 30. Yes, stabilization. But again, if you're shooting with IBIS, now I don't know if you're shooting video, I'm assuming stills, but with IBIS, it's not as big of a deal. So the 30 it's not quite as a problem as long as you're shooting with a camera with IBIS. Okay, let's see. This is awesome. We have 284 people on this stream. It's great. At one point, I think we had like 300, which, wow. So that's really cool. So thank you all for being here. I think it's a great way to kick off the weekend. And, I got to be honest with you. I really, really didn't want to do a stream today. After losing all that footage, after cranking out two fairly big videos, I mean, even though the firmware one was short, there was a scene in that video where I had to rattle off all the camera names. I think it's in like the very beginning. And if you watch it back, I didn't want to, okay, it is the XT5, the XX, blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to read it off a teleprompter. And at that point, I had to say it in a certain way because I didn't want to drone on and on, right? It's the XT5, the XT4, the XT3. I didn't want to say that. So I sat down and I rewrote the script and I memorized, I thought, what's the fastest way I can convey this information, not lose the viewer, but make sure that I cover every camera. So I came up with, it's the XT5, 4, and 3. It takes less time to say that than XT5, XT4, and XT3. I actually thought of this crap. So, and that was, I think I did that that was over, I think it was 30 to 35 takes to do that. And it's funny because when you throw the video in Final Cut Pro or Premiere or whatever, when they work, when you throw the thing in the editor, you can see the audio wavelengths, right? And then a gap, and then another similar set, and then a gap. And so what I do is I just skipped, the first 34 and just went to the last one, right? Because I was in a hurry. Normally I watch each take and I go, oh yeah, I had my eyes closed there. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. There's this one, it was like, bam, there was no time. So I didn't want to do a stream. I just was burned out. And I am so glad I did. I'm really glad I did. This is a great way to end the week. Even with the 8mm fiasco, it's a great way to end the week. And that's on you. Thank you. It's all because of you. Boy, wow. Christopher Wu, thank you. What do we have here? Curious how easy with the PASM dial on the Azure partner camera kiddos. Yes. Well, yeah, it depends on their ages, of course. But I kind of want my kids to learn those top dials. I'm going to keep pushing that, exposure triangle. That's really important. However, if I'm out as a second camera, the beauty of it is I would literally stick it in auto, hand it to somebody when I'm traveling and say, hey, can you get a shot of us? And I know I'm now I'm putting my trust not in some stranger taking a photo of me, but the engineers behind the Fuji cam to choose the right film sim, to choose the right, all that stuff. So I think for that reason, it's great. Would I have my kids use it? No, too expensive of a camera. I would get them something a lot cheaper to start out with. I don't want them starting out with the latest and the greatest at all by any means. You know, I want the simplest point and shoot type thing, but, you know, in manual. And if they take an interest to it and I'm not even interested in if the photos are good. I'm interested in the interest level. Does it spark anything? And if so, and it continues down that road, then absolutely, you know, here's an XT3. Here you go. But yeah, probably wouldn't give him that one just yet. It's too good. I want that camera. It's too good. So, but yeah, Instax. No, you know, we did a video with Instax, and Instax is great, but it's like, you know, it's Polaroid. It's Polaroid, and it just doesn't. It's not enough. We need more, and it's kind of bulky too for travel if that's your only camera. So I think, like, honestly, probably say it the ZV1. I mean, it's the smallest that I've got, but it's, you know, it is kind of confusing, I think, for a beginner because the menus are all over the map. Again, I don't like their setup. So if I had to choose right now, which one it would be, I'd probably give them an XT2, you know, give him an XT2 because, damn, that camera is certainly good enough for anybody. Okay. Absolutely. We will keep you updated when that Wally is finished. I will make a video on that. So definitely. We're also probably going to be bringing that to Dragon Con. I am planning on going to Dragon Con in Atlanta this year. I want to shoot Dragon Con. So that would be the time. I might be filming some behind the scenes as well. Yeah, for sure. Used XT1. There you go. That's another one. Sure. Why not? It's all my precious. That's right. Yeah, thanks, Florian. It is. It's funny, you know. I don't know how many YouTubers got the XS10 and the lens combo. I honestly don't know. But I want to just say, because I've gotten in the past on a number of videos, people who have said, hey, Fuji should give you this. Fuji should recognize the channel. Well, they did. Definitely did this time around. It was a short window and I had to hustle, but they did. And they were very gracious about it and available to answer any questions I had about it. They're product technical people, and they really do care about the cameras, the menus, things like that. Okay. I got to tell you this. Hold on. What the hell? All right. So when I returned the camera, I forgot to put a part that was with the camera in the box when I returned the XS20. The part that I forgot to include was that little black plastic cover that goes over the hot shoe. Do you know what I'm talking about? It goes over the hot shoe. When you buy a new camera, when you get a new camera, you take it out. Usually most people throw it away, but it's that little plastic cover that goes on the hot shoe mount. So I had dropped the box off. I was really depressed. I came back to the studio and I see this thing lying on the corner of the table. I'm like, oh, geez, oh man, got to get that sent back too. So I took a picture of it, and it was a fairly close-up picture. You could see it. And I sent it to someone at Fuji, someone that, you know, has a pretty good job at Fuji. And they wrote back, I'm sorry, what is this? I don't know what this thing is. And I'm like, what? I go, wait a minute. That's like you freaking work at Fuji. You make these cameras and you don't know what a hot shoe cover mount is. And so I had to, well, it's this. And I was trying to be diplomatic about it. They were wonderful. But I thought I'd share that because, again, I think that some of them, they just get so busy with stuff, and I can relate to that there's certain, they miss some of the obvious, and they didn't know what that was. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that. True story. True story. Let's see. Okay. Have I tried Capture One for iPad and the XT5? Yes, I have. I've tried wireless tethering with it. I've tried everything with it. The Face Eye. In fact, I have a whole video on Capture One. I just did a couple of videos ago. Works great. The wireless tethering, though, I would say, unless you have a damn good reason for wireless tethering in general, I would avoid it. Because, you can get a fairly long USB-C cable. And it's not like an HDMI cable where if you have it over a certain amount of feet, it's going to drop signal and you can't have a 4K, blah, blah, blah. Get a USB-C cable and, unless it really is a problem with the wires, I would avoid wireless anything if you have wires. If you can hide the wires, if you don't need to have wireless is never as reliable. Right, Mr. Jarble, you're a tech person. It's never as reliable as wired for anything. So I have used it and it does work. And in terms of it working overall with the XT5, yeah. Now, Lightroom, I wanted to test the XS20 and it doesn't recognize the RAW files. At least it didn't when I tested it before the camera came out. Adobe hadn't updated their Adobe Camera Raw. I'm sure if they haven't done it already, they're doing it now. So I was only able to get JPEGs in Lightroom, and I wanted to test RAWs, and that was another thing that I had to cut from the video. So I only demoed Capture One with that. All right. It does. It makes me crazy, Mike. It really does. Now, if you connect with not 5G, if you connect with a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi network, it is faster. It also depends on your distance to the router, and it also depends if you have a teenager upstairs jamming up the network with their streaming and their gaming. But yeah, it works. It works okay, but the RAW files are a problem. And particularly with the XT5, because you have that huge sensor. Okay, let me get to a few more here, and then folks, I gotta go. Oh, wow. And look, thank you. Hold on a second. We got a guest. All right, hold on a minute. Are you there, Tucky? No, hold on. Guest is in the green room. I don't know how to add him. I'm going to add him to the left. Let's see if that works. Are you here? Hello? Anybody? I got a message. It said he's here. Big Head Taco's here. Oh, man. Okay. If you're here, jump in. I've got like 5 minutes left on this stream, but I'm really glad you're here. I hope we can make this work. Let's try it again. Now I'm over here. I've never put anybody on this live stream before, so this will be interesting. Okay, we got him joining. Let's do it again. Oh, oh hey! Whoa, he disappeared. Jeez, I can't do anything around here. Okay, call me back. This is what it is, raw and unplugged here today on the live stream. Thank you for your patience. Call me back there, Take. Okay, he's calling back. All right, we'll add him. There he is. I see him. Okay, hey, can you say something? Can we hear you?
Hello.
Hold on a second.
Hear me?
I came prepared, okay? I figured I'd need these. Okay. Can you hear me?
Hey.
How you doing?
Chris, how's it going?
I'm great.
I'm doing excellent.
Okay. Hold on one second. I need a quick feedback in the audience. Can you hear him? Just let me know ASAP.
Can you?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. First of all, welcome to this stream. We don't have a lot of time. We got maybe 6 or 7 minutes, but thank you for joining.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to let you do the talking. What do you think of the camera? What do you think of the Summit? Let me hear.
It was, I guess we're all kind of waiting for the X Pro 4, or a lot of us X Pro 3 fans. But, the XS20 was I had it a couple of months early because I was part of the helping out with the lifestyle photos, which I was pretty happy that they let me have the camera. But the issue of having it early was it was so early, the firmware wasn't finalized. Not everything was working. The camera was not finalized. So they basically told me, you're not allowed to review it. You can't review the like you can test, you could play with it, but there is no final like, hey, the 4K doesn't look good or a 6 point, because everything was I think was updated about 4 or 5 times while I had it still.
Wow.
So it was just
Huh.
kind of, I loved having it, but I wasn't allowed to test it.
Right.
But my videographer that helped me with shooting my video portions of it, he has the XH2S, he has the XH2, he has the XT5, he had the XT4, and he's just like, why do I need two XH2 two XH2s? He's selling his XT5 and he's going to sell his XH2 and he's going to get the X8 XS20 as his B cam to his XH2S.
How long did you get the camera to test before? In other words, how far in advance of the summit did you receive the camera? I'm just curious.
Yeah, early March, like March 4th. I
Oh
think
my
they contacted me.
God. Really? I got it
Yeah,
two
yeah,
days ahead of time. Oh my God.
yeah,
Wow. Wow.
but I mean, like I said, it was for the lifestyle photos. I mean, it
Right,
could have
right, right.
just
Of
been a
course.
shell, right? Just like with
And that's
nothing in
actually
it, just to
worse.
take photos
Right.
of it.
Right. No
Exactly.
firmware.
And
Oh
then I was,
man.
and then as it was getting closer to the launch, I started asking him, hey, so, and also you saw me in the media brief, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed a media brief. So I had the camera and there were functions. I'm looking at it going, what does this do? And Fujifilm Japan is like, we can't tell you because we're still figuring out
Uh,
if this is going to work or not. So I even had the X app early. I had the X app early in
wow.
March as well.
Wow.
And they just wanted to
Wow.
make sure it connects and it works. The same thing. I wasn't allowed to write about it. I wasn't allowed to talk about it. And so by the time you got it, I think the firmware was fully updated and you could do this review. By the time I returned it, the firmware wasn't final yet. So I couldn't run any of my
Yeah.
tests.
That's worse. Actually, I would rather have the camera. I mean, I'd rather lose the sleep, but have a camera that's ready to test than that. No, than have to
Yes.
shoot, reshoot, and reshoot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. Did you get the lens too,
Yeah.
or just the camera?
I got the lens and the camera. So the lens was a lot
Wow.
of fun.
Okay, let's hear
Yeah.
about it. What do you
And
think of the lens?
again, my videographer, because he shoots open gate, and I know a lot of content creators who run small businesses, you know, so they one of my buddies owns a high-end Japanese denim shop and he repurposes videos for YouTube, for TikTok, and he has an XH2S, which is overkill for him. He goes,
Right.
I only need it for open gate. I need to do vertical video for TikTok. He frames it so it's
Okay.
just one shoot because he had the XT4. He'd shoot vertical, do TikTok, then go horizontal, and then reshoot it again for
Oh,
YouTube. And
right.
and he's like, you know what? Having open gate, he shoots it once, and now for him, he's thinking, wow, open gate for 1300. That's just unheard of. So
They're getting
that
that.
feature is just, you know, open gate and then 8 millimeter. So if you are trying to
Right.
repurpose like 6.2K, and you know, TikTok and Instagram is 1080, I think, right, for
Yeah.
video.
1080.
So you could do a lot of cropping and
Yeah.
repurposing for TikTok, for Instagram, for YouTube. Just have to shoot it once and just keep it running. And you know, you got 36 minutes, I think it was, without the fan, 72 minutes with the fan. That's like 6.2K at the
Wow.
top resolution, H.265. I mean, these guys are just like, wow, like I only have to spend $1,300 for this. So I was listening to your live, and you know, people are talking about the XT5. I'm the same as you. I like dials and knobs. I have my X Pro 3. This is my daily. I walked to
Nice.
my studio today. This is my fun camera. XT5, XT4. I love the dials and the knobs.
Yeah.
Um, I like the original XH1 because the XH1 still had the dials and knobs, you know, still had an ISO dial, still had the shutter speed dial. So it was kind of where I wanted the XH2 to be, but they got rid of it, went PASM. Not really my style, but I
Yeah.
understand, like my videographer loves the PASM. He loves the custom settings.
Sure.
So it's catered to someone like him that does mostly video. For still shooter like me, I prefer the knobs and dials. And so the XS20 would be a studio camera for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Uh,
would, because I'm using my XT4 right now, which I actually prefer over the XT5 for my studio work. 26 megapixels is more than enough. for studio work, talking head, overhead video,
No, flip
product
around
photography.
screen. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big. Sometimes I just don't want to use a monitor. I just flip it around and just make it easy for myself. And
Right.
so the XS20 will replace it. It's not a sexy camera for me. It's a functional camera, and it's going to help me to
That's a good
run my
point.
business basically.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's not a sexy camera at all, but it's a real workhorse. It gets the job done. And for me, I noticed that every minute I used it for sure. Wow,
I mean,
awesome, man.
that's kind of why the XS20 and the XH series has never had a finish, a color option. Because really, aesthetically, they're kind of ugly. Like if you had a silver XH2, it wouldn't work. And even
Right.
Fujifilm designers recognize that. They
Yeah,
realize,
that's a good
look,
point.
these are functional cameras. There's no. Let's think about every other Fujifilm camera since the X100. There's a color option. There's a
Yeah,
finish option,
yeah.
right? Except for maybe the original X Pro 1, there wasn't a finish option. Maybe there was a limited edition. I don't think there was. X Pro 2,
Uh,
there wasn't a finish option. But beyond that, every other Fujifilm camera had different colors, different finishes, except the XH1, the XH2 series, and the XS series. Never. Because aesthetically, it doesn't really work as a kind of a form, kind of like a Leica-esque where they kind of they say form and function. I say that Leicas are more form than function, but they're beautiful to look at. And a lot of Fujifilm cameras, like the X Pro 3, it's still, I would say, more form than function. It's beautiful. I admit it's not the most practical camera, but it's just beautiful and it makes me want to use it. The XS20 is not something you would carry around to kind of, go to a coffee shop and hope that someone will notice. It's a workhorse. You buy it because
right,
you need its functions, or you're on a cruise or something and you need a really compact yet powerful camera that
right.
you're going to use for work, and that's really it's the right camera for that sort of thing.
Oh, it's great, great input. If anybody has any questions for him, put it in the chat now. He's a gold mine of information. This is awesome. And it was great seeing you in New York. He and I sat together at the Fuji Summit and it was really nice. And your video is awesome. Go check out his channel, okay? Like as soon as we're done with the stream, Big Head Taco. Where did you come up with Big Head Taco? I know you've been asked that before. I've never asked it of you before. What's Big Head
It was
Taco?
actually it was actually it was actually a bet.
You
It was
lost
a
a bet,
name that
or you won a bet?
it's no, no, no. It's a name that I had because I wanted a band named something weird.
Oh,
Like a lot of bands have weird names, and
right,
there was a band in Vancouver called Big Head Todd and the Monsters, and I always liked that name. And
right, right.
so I when I started this brand, I'm like, what do I call it? And just like you, I didn't call it Takekayo Photography or Takekayo. I always felt like,
Right,
Steve Jobs could have called it Steve Jobs and Wozniak, or
right,
Bill
right.
Gates and company. But they come up with these iconic names, and so I thought, no, 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 I'm going to create a name that's weird, but it was meant for a band, not a YouTube channel and an Instagram account. But I said, hey, I like it. It's weird. People won't forget it, and people will
Sure.
ask you, hey, why did you name that? So I
Well,
decided to just use this band name.
it's perfect because not only that, you can register it with all these, like you can get an Instagram handle, you can get a Twitter handle, you can do all that. It's not taken. I chose Pal to Tech because frankly, if I had done Christopher Lee, everybody, the minute you type that in a Google search, you get the Dracula guy, or the Lord of the Rings guy. I mean, he owns that name pretty much. So, there was no, wasn't even a close call decision for that. But I always wondered that. Yeah. And you also, do you work with Fuji Weekly too? You do? I know you do some
Yeah,
writing.
Fuji Love magazine. Yeah,
Fuji Love.
I'm kind of unofficially, I guess I wouldn't call myself a head writer, but I'm one of their main writers. And
Ah,
I've been
cool.
working with Tomasz since the very beginning because he read my blog and he said, "I like what you're doing. Would you love to write for me?" So I stopped my blog so I could focus
Oh,
on
that was wow.
Instagram and YouTube and everything else, and switched over to Tomasz because I saw how he set his up. I said, "Wow, this is really professional and looks great." And I only had so much bandwidth to write articles and do videos and photos and do jobs and do all the other things. So I felt it would be better to write for someone who would build it to what it is already now and
Right.
be the head writer than do my own and kind of do it mediocre. So I gave up my own website so that I can write for him.
That's cool. And let me see if we've got any. Yeah, we do. Hold on one second. I just saw one. Okay, so here's a question here. What's your opinion of the film simulations? Any favorites? Do you like them or you don't like them? Obviously, you must like them, but what's your favorite film sim?
I mean, my two favorite would be classic Chrome and classic Neg.
Yeah,
Those
me too.
two, because
That's it.
I'm very kind of, I love street style photography, and the cities that I tend to visit, I want the images to look more cinematic, less like more surreal, not realistic. So
Right.
Provia, Astia, those being more realistic, photorealistic, but I'm trying to create a mood. I want a certain vibe. And I remember shooting Kodachrome. I remember shooting all those films,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the real films back in the day. So I love that aesthetic, and it was baked into the film. And Fujifilm, in terms of JPEGs, are baking them into the JPEGs. And so it's a very stylistic way of shooting, not a photorealistic, if you want to call it that. But, they give you the option to go photorealistic if you want to. So, I mean, no other brand, I would say, other than maybe Ricoh, someone like the Ricoh's positive film and their black and white high contrast is also very hyper real. And it has this look, and people love the Ricoh JPEGs, and they're highly tweakable, just like Fujifilm. But
Yeah.
with Leica, I just shoot their regular because they have vivid and stuff like that. And it just doesn't work. It's kind of, they just bump the saturation up a little bit, and that's a new, simulation. It doesn't really do anything for me. Canon's the same.
Yeah.
Canon, you just shoot straight out Canon is beautiful. Nikon, straight out Nikon is beautiful. Sony is a mess. I can never balance Sony still. I know they're great for video.
Yeah.
And Fujifilm, the color science is just, I mean, no other manufacturer today that still makes film. They make wet labs, like 1 hour labs. They make photochemistry paper. They make digital cameras. They make their Instax, which is technically a lot of them analog cameras. So nobody does A to Z like Fujifilm. They make
Right.
everything.
Yeah,
They
that's
make
a good-
makeup in Japan, right? And they're a huge pharmaceutical and chemistry
Yeah.
brand. So they understand color very well. So
Yeah.
that's why their color is so good. They've been doing it for 70, 80 years. So if anyone can convert a physical color like this, okay, it's a Leica thing, but this red and mimic it on, mimic it to digital, no one can do it other than Fujifilm,
Yeah.
right? Because they understand color. I mean, there's companies like Pantone that all they deal with is color. Well, Fujifilm is like Pantone, like that's kind of their job, right? They know how to convert physical color to virtual color.
So, okay, so here's a question for you. What's the worst film simulation?
Let me just look. I think it's a bleach. To me, bleach bypass.
Yeah. What about
Bleach
sepia?
bypass doesn't it works sometimes. I
Yeah.
actually find that on a kind of a cloudy day, and you're in
Okay.
nature, and the grass just doesn't look punchy enough. I do
Yeah.
find that. Oh, did you say sepia or did you say Velvia? You said sepia.
I said sepia because I went and shot the place where
Okay.
they filmed The Walking Dead, and I used bleach bypass for that, and it looked. I mean, it had that look that I thought it was okay. Sepia I've never used, but I want to hear what would you use it for?
You're right. Sepia is the worst. It is the worst.
I mean, it reminds me of that app before Instagram. What was that thing called? Instamax or Hipstamatic. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
those film sims that were on there. It was so over filtered. That's what it reminds me of. But listen, I would you like to be on Done Over Perfect? We got to talk longer than this. You know so much. I would
sure.
love to dig into this with you. I'd love to find out how you got started, what you love shooting, what some of your process, your workflow. I mean, I think we need to have a larger Would you folks like to see this?
sure.
Would you like to have him back? Let us know in the comments. I would love to have you back here. I really would. Because,
That sounds awesome.
what I can do today it doesn't do you justice at all. You are a wealth of knowledge. You really are. But please let it. Yeah, she's right. It doesn't work. And we got a lot of yeses coming in. Look at that. Can you see the chat at all in your window? Are you?
I was I was getting feedback because I was watching your video on my iPhone here.
Here,
and then I got a
let's
feedback
see.
loop, so I just turned it off.
Here, try that. Can you see the? Oh, you can't. Okay, wait.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. It doesn't show. I can't show you the feedback, but it's like yes, 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 yes. Ding, 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 all the way down. So, whoa! Did you just disappear? Wait a second. Oh, there you are.
No,
so
I'm still here. I'm still here.
No, I screwed it up. I hit the wide camera instead. But you're back. I see you now. Okay, so any other final? Yes, get him back. Get him back. Could be the beginnings of. Yeah, we're getting just so. Well, I mean, look at this. Everyone. Yes, go. Yes. All right. So here, wait. I gotta do this because I'm so thrilled that you're here. Let me take a picture of you. Hold on. Here we go. Just like this, just to say, look who joins. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Can I hold this at the same time? Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Ready? All right. Here we go. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to use a Z.
No, please.
What are you, nuts? Okay, here we go. You ready? Let's just, hold on. Okay, there. Okay, ready. 1, 2, and smile. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you. For the rest
Thanks for
of you.
having me. It was awesome.
Check out Big Head Taco, not Stone Temple Pilots, but Big Head Taco, and named after a band, a 3-word name after a band. That's a cool story. I didn't know that. And you'll see some great videos, and definitely follow him. And
you were in one of my videos.
I'm in one of his videos. Yeah,
talking cameras.
I'm wearing this horrible white shirt that blew out every highlight I had.
We had to change the subtitles to black. You're the only one.
I know. I screwed him up. I messed him up. All right, my friend. It has been great talking to you, and I will be in touch with you offline. We'll have you back. We'll do a proper interview. And again, thank you for joining the stream. Take care, man.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm so thrilled that I was able to make this thing work and have him on. He really is a wealth of knowledge. And so we'll get him back. We'll do a full-blown podcast with him, a proper one, as long as we need to really do. You want to figure out how, I went to figure out how to upgrade from the D200 and I thought it was a question. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I really do. And for all of the Backstage members, if you haven't joined Backstage, check it out. Basically, talk about everything going on behind the scenes here. We have a Discord server that we use to share photos, comment on Fuji stuff, answer questions, that kind of thing. That's with Backstage or the regular YouTube channel memberships. It's not a public Discord. It's a private community, and we keep it very family. We're close group, and it's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and so check it out. It might be something you'd want to do. In the meantime, though, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. I want to look at this. I actually the stream went on long enough, so let's have one final sip, and then I will sign off. Okay. All right. That's okay, Natalie. Yeah. Here, this says it all. We have cake. Thanks, Scrutable Hal. All right, folks. Anyhow, if you liked the live stream today, if you thought it was great, give it the like and subscribe. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, get out, take some awesome photos. I will be reviewing all of the super chats. If I missed your question, I apologize. I will get to it when I review it. I will have this video replayed on YouTube so you can watch the whole thing if you just jumped in later and missed the beginning part. So that'll be available to you. Let's see, anything else? Did I forget anything? I think we're good. There he is. You are welcome. It was an honor, sir. And yeah, so great community. Isn't this just the best community? This is, it doesn't get any better than this. And it's great because you can kick off the weekend, and my job, my only job, is to get you excited about your photography so that you can go out and get the best photos possible and enjoy it and have something that's long lasting. That's it. It's just really that simple. Okay, folks, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again. Take care.